What is up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. Sweep. Mets are playing good baseball in June. It was almost so close to being a perfect, flawless, amazing series. We had David Peterson, complete game shutout in the year 2025. David Peterson did it. Fantastic. Game one was awesome. The Mets swinging the bats well. Juan Soto's playing well. Jeff McNeil, good baseball player. But Kodai Senga got hurt. And he's on the IL. And that sucks. And we're going to talk about it along with everything else that happened in this series. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to the Mets'd Podcast YouTube channel if you want to see the video version of this. Remember, if you join the members on the YouTube channel, $2.99 a month, you will get the episodes early. This one that you're listening to right now is going to be out from like Thursday at 8 o'clock. Otherwise, you're hearing it on Friday morning when we normally put it out. But if you remember, you get early access plus a monthly live stream Q&A with me and James. So if you want to do that, we do appreciate it along with subscribing. And if you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download and subscribe. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at Mets'd. Appreciate it. James, how we feeling? What's going on? I tell you what, we've had such a weird season this year with the Mets where game 3 of series has sometimes been up and down. That one was a little scary, but they still got the win, which was nice.
Totally, but the Senga injury put such a massive damper on this incredible play the Mets are having on another amazing series, back-to-back sweeps. The Mets, since the sky was falling in Boston, when the game they lost 2-0 after Walker Buehler was ejected, we've played 20 games. We've won 16 of them. That includes 7 games against the Dodgers, also 6 games against the Rockies, 3 games against Nationals, 3 games against the White Sox, but still, you're playing the best team in the baseball and also the worst team. Still got to beat who's on the schedule. Since June came around, the Mets have only lost 2 games. The Mets love just pride and being gay in general, but you can't. I don't know. I can't really think about how excited I am about all this stuff because of the Senga injury again. And like we had Senga pitching well. This is the one thing this was the main thing we were worried about heading into the seasons. How well would he hold up? And the arm is holding up fucking awesome. Arm is amazing. Arm, elbow, shoulder looks great, but it's just another lower body injury for Kodai Senga covering first base. And I really can't get that bad taste out of my mouth with this game.
Yeah, I was streaming this game and I felt like I was going to throw up. As soon as the throw went, I was like, please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt. He jumped up, he landed weird, extended his hamstring, immediately grabbed it, and I was silent for like 3-4 minutes. I was getting war flashbacks, PTSD of just all the injuries that have gone on over and over again, especially with Kodai Senga, and you said his legs. That's now the second time that we've seen this happen on a play that he tried to make and be athletic. Ends up hurting himself. Of course, Pete could have made a better throw. Shout out to Kodai, great teammate, great leader, telling Hero, you got to go out there and tell Pete. I felt it before I jumped and reached for that throw that I felt something going wrong with my hamstring. I don't know how much I buy that. The throw and the landing was awkward. It was a little bit weird, but great teammate alert, Kodai Senga. Good to see that going on there. But what the biggest thing that sucks about this is that Kodai was dominating the Nationals. He was having his way with them. He started off C.J. Abrams with the first pitch ghost fork in this game, and C.J. Abrams looked like he saw 4 heads on Kodai's shoulders. He couldn't believe that he got started off there. He was throwing eephus pitches. He was throwing curveballs at 69 miles an hour. He was dominant.
Dude, he had the at-bat against Keeper Ruiz. I don't remember if that was the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th inning, whatever that was, but he threw 3 out of 4 slow curves to Keeper Ruiz to start the at-bat, and then Keeper got out on a 90-mile-an-hour cutter, and Senga gave him a little look. It's like, are you just toying with these guys? Are you just having fun? But it did feel like maybe that was a little baseball karma for Kodai, kind of not good, because it looked like he was just having too much fun out there, and looked like he was going to cruise through another amazing start. The ERA was down to 1.47. The second he actually got qualified for the ERA title, of course he gets injured too, which pissed me off a little bit. But this is also just a great reminder to everybody out there, everyone listening, you and I, fans, people
Joel
in the media,
Sherman, writing
every
that
single
article,
person.
He put out the article, I think, at 2:10, saying that the Mets have a logjam of pitching. They're going to have too many guys for not enough spots. They're getting offers on Paul Blackburn. They're getting calls and feelers. 20 minutes later, Kodai Senga out on the IL.
And we say it all the time, there's never enough pitching. There's never been a Major League Baseball team that's in the middle of a pennant race saying, wow, you know what? I have way too much pitching right now. I really have to get rid of some of this pitching. The one team that tried to do that and thread the needle, that was the 2022 Yankees, backfired on them, getting Harrison Bader for Jordan Montgomery. You just never, ever, if you're a team that's trying to win baseball games, if you're not trying to win baseball games, trade every pitch you have, because they're going to break, of course. They all break nonstop. If you're trying to win baseball games, you never have enough pitching. And it's just, this is why we've kind of ignored some of these questions you guys have told us about on Twitter and the mailbag episode last week, where it's like, what are the Mets going to do when they have all these pitchers healthy? Like, what, are they going to trade someone? Who gets knocked out? It'll work itself out. It always works itself out. Next week, Frankie Montas probably coming back. He takes the spot. 2 weeks after that, Sean Manaea just got up to 46 pitches in another rehab start with the Cyclones. Then he's going to jump in. It's going to be a regular 6-man rotation. Unless somebody else gets hurt between now and then, which is also so possible. But that's just the fact of the matter is you only saving grace with this Kodai injury more so than last year. It is a bit earlier in the season.
Yes.
So we might get Kodai back for August.
Yeah. What are your predictions? Because you were pretty money last year with Kodai about when he was going to pitch and how long he was going to be out. What do you got for us right now?
My guess, because we have no information yet, recording this at 4:30 right after the game ended. They're going to tell us 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, they're going to say 6 to 8 weeks. I think Luke Weaver got the 4 to 6 weeks. That's where I'm going. I think we're going to see Kodai before the trade deadline, but after the All-Star break. That's where I'm going to put it in.
So July 21st.
Yeah, I think that's a good date. That's the date that I like. Over under July 21st. Over under.
Okay, I like that. I will take slightly over, but I do think that's what we're dealing with. And also, you know what? Fine. Yeah. This team's playing amazing baseball. We're winning games left and right. Again, 16-4 in our last 20. And what was an easy part of the schedule, and what you have to do in the easy part of the schedule, is just punch down on it. And the Mets did that really well, dominating. Between all these games they played against the Rockies, the White Sox, and Nationals, they lost 1 total game.
That's amazing.
That's exactly what you have to do when you're at this part of the schedule. Right now, we have the best record in baseball, which does not matter, but it's also nice to have. Citi Field's rocking every single night. Like, these are really good things. So again, we wanted to get out this anger about the Kodai injury right off the bat here. Just rip this Band-Aid off because that's kind of the prevailing thought right when this game ended on Thursday. But things are good right now, and that we can appreciate that.
Yeah, and I also thought it was really great, too, that when Jose Castillo came in for Kodai afterwards, big play by Tyrone Taylor, again, just laying out, catching that ball in the gap. He is so good defensively this year. He's gotten to another level. I feel like once a week we're seeing highlight plays made by Tyrone Taylor. He walked today, got another hit. Playing good baseball. He's definitely a guy that this team is just not nearly as good without, even though his counting numbers, his stat numbers, his slash lines may not jump out as a valuable player. But him being that center field guy, that rock right now, especially when Jose Siri's been hurt, it's been incredibly valuable.
Yeah, and Jose Siri had a setback that was also announced during this series that now he was kind of getting close, probably doing some baseball activities. Now it's totally on the shelf for 4 weeks. So this is Tyrone Taylor center field for the time being, and Jeff McNeil center field because he continues to mix in center field. But also right after that, when Jose Castillo got into trouble, Huascar Brazoban comes in during the 7th inning. And Huascar Brazoban once again strands 2 more runners on base. Also, Brazoban got a nice deserved break. He didn't pitch since Friday. I thought it was nice to give a guy like Brazoban like 6 full days off. Just take a little deep breath there for a guy who's been rubber arm all season. He stranded 18 of the 20 inherited runners he's had this season, which is a ridiculous number for a guy that's come into so many, for lack of a better term, bad situations and just kind of throws changeups over and over again. It's amazing to see what he's done. And we had a 22-inning shutout streak in this series that was snapped by Ryan Stanek in the 9th inning, who has not been good. Believe that there. But this game just is so overshadowed by Senga. It's hard to even talk about the rest of it.
Yeah, I will then. I'll talk about the rest of it. Stanek, officially on my watch list, officially on the keep note list. His strikeout rate's way down. His walk rate's up. He has no out pitch right now. And he came into the 9th and looked horrible, had absolutely nothing. Granted, it was C.J. Abrams, James Wood, 2 really, really good hitters. James Wood, one of the better hitters in baseball right now in Major League Baseball. So it's understandable that those guys can beat him. But the fact that he just can't really get these outs right now is a little bit concerning when he is kind of the number 2 option, technically, it feels like, behind Edwin Diaz. That being said, other good things that happened in this game, Mets jumped out on Mike Soroka early. I had a take on my stream. I think Mike Soroka, one, the Nationals have to trade that guy. 2, I think he's going to be one of the better pickups at the trade deadline for a team because after that first inning, he settled in beautifully. That high fastball was giving Mets hitters fits all game. The curveball was good. He gave up the run late again. But in those middle innings when he did settle in and he kept the Nationals in this game, that's going to be extremely valuable to a team at the deadline who's competing for it. But shout out Jeff McNeil. He got a home run in the first inning. Good baseball player. He gets a home run on the worst hit ball of the entire inning. Brandon Nimmo smoked the ball 106. Gets caught. Yeah, Alonso smokes the ball to right field. Home runs in Yankee Stadium. Jeff McNeil, 92 mile an hour fly ball to right. Gone, 3-run home run. Jeff McNeil, good baseball player. OPS above 900 still, I think.
As of the end of the game, it was at, well over 900. We have 911. Oh, yeah.
Above 900.
Above 900. Tyrese Halliburton on that one. But also, that pitch from Soroka, that's not technically a curveball. He's throwing that they're calling it a slurve because it does have a lot more horizontal movement. I think he's throwing it with slide their intent from hearing some things that he said about that pitch. Also, another Ryan Stanek fact as he's struggled here. He has not gotten a swing and miss on his splitter yet in the month of June. No, not a swing and miss, a chase. No one has chased that splitter in the month of June. Yeah. That's kind of the key for him. He needs people to be chasing that pitch. He also had, I'm also not wrong there. He also doesn't have a swing and miss on it either. So, yeah, both of those things are true. But Soroka is good. Soroka's a guy I'd love the Mets to get their hands on possibly at some point. But this was a game, I think, as much or more so, basically the whole series where the top of our order was like, we're just going to be better. Yeah. Like, we're just going to do things. Especially Brandon Nimmo, these last two games. Nimmo has loved playing the Washington Nationals this season.
Sledgehammer.
Five home runs against this team so far this season, and he has, 14 on the year, if I remember right, 15 on the year. Somehow also Brandon Nimmo has that OPS back to 760 after what's been a very sneakily, quietly good month as everyone else in the top of this order has been hitting well. It was a very good game until that ninth inning. That was chaotic, but then Edwin Diaz just found a way good enough to get through everything.
Yeah, it's funny with Nimmo how as soon as you slot him in the 2 spot, he goes back to just being a patient, aggressive hitter, like a patiently aggressive hitter, I guess is the way that I'd like to say that. Thinking, because at the first game of the series I went to with a shout out to our boy Ernie. It's going to be his birthday on Sunday, so we'll make sure that we give him a little special shout out as being the official translator of the Mets'd podcast. But Nimmo this year, when he's batting second, and this is before today when he hit the home run, it's been 11 games. He's had 44 plate appearances. He has a near 1,200 OPS. Everywhere else, it's been bad. Like he doesn't like hitting fourth. He hasn't liked the game that he led off. He definitely doesn't like hitting fifth. That's where he's been his worst this year. I think regardless of whether it's a righty or lefty on the mound, I would like to see Brandon Nimmo continue to hit too.
Kratz, you look different today. Do I see Chubby's shorts on your shoulder?
Oh, the sick design. I mean, don't even get it twisted too, because the lining normally is like an SOS pad. This lining that's in the center is so soft, so smooth. The outside, so many things to choose from on chubbyshorts.com.
Facts. And the code FOUL for 20% off. I got the Tiger Sharks.
Ooh-wee.
A little blend of a tiger and a shark. It's beautiful. So don't wait. For a very limited time, shop Chubby's biggest sale of the year, $45 shorts and up to 65% off select gear. Hit up chubbyshorts.com and grab your favorites before they're gone. If you miss the sale, then use the FT code, FOUL in lowercase for 20% off. Support FT, let them know we sent you when the survey asks, and get ready to turn some heads. Summer's here, dress like it in Chubby's.
And that has happened. I do think Carlos Mendoza probably also deserves a bit more credit than he's gotten for the way that he reshuffled this lineup and instantly every single thing clicked into place. And again, that's against people like us who all offseason said this is the perfect way to draw this lineup. Juan Soto has to hit 2. Pete Alonso should be in the top 3. And it just makes sense to put Brandon Nimmo 4 just because we're not – I say it all the time, like we're not in the field with these guys. We're not in the clubhouse. If Brandon was not comfortable hitting 4, he's not comfortable hitting 4. And he clearly wasn't hitting like someone that was comfortable in that spot. And even if it's just something as simple as making a player think too much, the second you're a hitter and you start thinking too much, it's all over. Everything's been ruined now in that one shot. So it's nice to see that as he's gone back to a spot in the batting order that he's more comfortable in. It does feel like all of these guys are in what's to be considered a much more natural position now, which is very funny because this has become something of an more old school baseball lineup with like the shortstop who could do with all hitting leadoff, the patient hitter with some power, good contact skills hitting second, the best all around hitter 3, and like big meaty Pete Alonso hitting 4th. Like this is a kickback to like the 2006 Mets lineup that kind of just aligned perfectly.
And it's funny because we talked about Nimmo moving up, hitting well. Juan Soto's hitting better in the 3 spot, 953 OPS, 400 on base percentage, 5 homers, 4 doubles in 19 games. It's going to be 20 now. Again, the numbers on Baseball Reference haven't adjusted yet. And Pete, who you didn't think could be hitting better than he was in the 3 spot, in 19 games, now 20 in the 4 spot, 1,100 OPS, hitting over 300 with a 400 on base, 8 home runs in those 20 games where he had 9 in the first 49 in the 3 spot. So, yeah, Carlos Mendoza is something we noticed last year. We saw it. You could track the turnaround of the Mets season to when Francisco Lindor moved to the leadoff spot. Cerebral manager. Really, really good. I love Carlos Mendoza.
Totally. And this is that beautiful part of the baseball where it's the confluence of good and bad analysis where we're like, yeah, change lineup, hit better. But it did happen. And there's nothing really to do for that. But it's so cool to see the way Mendoza's maturing. You want to just work fully backwards? Because I want to talk about a lot of Mendoza with the David Peterson game on Wednesday night. Because David Peterson, complete game shutout. Just so fucking cool. We barely see these anymore. So the fact that he was able to finish that one out was great. But there was an amazing quote from Mendoza after the game about how Peterson, what went through the decision to send Peterson out for that 9th inning. Did you see what this was?
No, I did not see because I was streaming the game. So as soon as it was done, I was like, I need a break. I was yapping for 3 straight hours about the Mets, and that was just a great game. Me and Wardy ripping the stream together. Good vibes for the Mets.
So basically, Mendoza said that he knew he was going to give Peterson that inning. He knew he wanted to give Peterson an inning. He knew he deserved that inning, but he wanted Peterson to fight for the inning, even knowing that. He wanted to know that how badly Peterson wanted that inning. So Peterson said that he went into the dugout after the 8th and was like avoiding eye contact with Carlos Mendoza because he was like, I don't even want him to look at me. I don't even want him to think about taking me out. So Mendoza had to go up and approach him and then kind of egg on Peterson to be like, are you staying? He's like, yeah, I need the fucking ball. That is, again, the beauty of the confluence that Carlos Mendoza brings, where he's aware of everything that we or anyone else talks about here, process-wise, numbers-wise, analytics-wise. But there's a human element to this game that can never be taken away. And the fact that we have this synergy between that, for Carlos Mendoza to be able to marry these things in his mind, and these guys love riding for him, and he lets them do the weird shit that this Mets team loves to do, be all corny and strange and stupid, but then also lock down and get to baseball and like have an actual coherent, cohesive clubhouse that's serious about winning and clearly very serious about winning. This team, more than anything else, I think it's overwhelming how much they love winning. It's a great blend what they have.
Winning is so much fun. I love
so
winning.
Much fun.
Like,
I can't believe how quickly this team, this year, this roster came together to feel special again. Like I thought the way that last season ended, it was going to be like, wow, that was crazy what we just did over the last few months. Like I didn't think I would like feel this kind of infatuation for a group of players again. And it is mostly the same guys, but there are some key differences. But it's still just like the joy that these guys bring to baseball. It probably also comes back to a lot of Mendoza and Francisco Lindor's leadership at the top. But it's just like there's so much like vigor with this team. Like they love being together. They love being out there. They seem like they just have so much enjoyment of being at the ballpark every single day.
Well, today was what? Is it Grimace's birthday? Was that the whole thing?
Yeah, the 1 year since that happened, which is crazy. That was even a year ago because the Mets too. I saw a tweet 2 days ago, and I'm sure it's still true because they won both their games since. Have the best record in Major League Baseball for the last 365 days. Yeah. So more than the season. I think it was 165 games, and they were 165.
Yeah,
or 105 and 60.
There it is, 105 and 60. And they won today, so now they're 106 and 60 in their last 366
66
games.
Days, yeah. So the year and a day. Everyone loves the year and a day stat. But it's I'm saying like it's cool to see, and you saw all that emotion, like pumped up by the fans too.
Yeah.
When this Peterson complete game shutout is happening. Huge credit to SNY for understanding the moment and keeping the game feed on, not going to commercial break when everything ended. And they did the zoom out camera basically from where Gary and Ron were sitting as Peterson sprinted full tilt out of the dugout. First guy, he was on the mound before anybody else crossed the foul line, and the place was roaring, going crazy. Like that, it's all working together. And Peterson mentioned after the game how much the fans have been like egging this team on, how much they love how crazy that environment is every single day. I think he actually said the phrase that it feels like playoff games here every single night. And no, it's an amazing advantage. Other teams do not have this.
Yeah, I mean, we had boots on the ground again. Shout out Ernie. He was at the game. He was like, this place is electric. This place is going wild. And that's amazing to hear. I was there on a Tuesday night. Tuesday. I was there Tuesday. The place was going absolutely bonkers. I texted you. I was like, if Pete ties this game up right now, this place is going to go fucking crazy. And he proceeded to almost instantly afterwards. The vibes are so good. But again, back to David Peterson, just giving him his flowers of the kind of pitcher that he's become. We kind of hyped him up coming into the season where, like, we didn't want to say it too loudly, but we were like, Dave Peterson might just be, like, really fucking good, right? Like, he might just be a really... he's not the level, of course, of like the Tarek Skubals and the Paul Skeens and the Zach Wheelers. But in terms of that next tier, he's one of those best guys that you could have right now in baseball.
And it's fun you say that because if you take the last calendar year, a little more in the calendar year, because David Peterson made his 2024 debut on May 29th against the Dodgers. We're going to talk about the Mets love throwing these pitchers right back into the fire. Like, that's what you do. That's what he did. So, and I think that shows confidence in the pitcher. So I do think the players feed off that too. Another testament to Carlos Mendoza, David Stearns, everything going on. Since that happened, he has the 7th lowest ERA in baseball. That's a 200-inning sample. Paul Skeens is the lowest. Then Hunter Brown. Shout out Hunter Brown, the ace no one talks about. Tarek Skubal, Chris Sale, Framber Valdez, Max Fried, and then David Peterson. And then Zach Wheeler. And then, number 9, really want to get shocked? Michael Wacha.
Holy shit.
But it's also crazy. Think about that. That top 7, that's 5 lefties.
Yeah, that is a lot of lefties.
And it's like, of that entire list, of course, David Peterson strikes out the fewest batters. David Peterson walks the most batters. David Peterson also doesn't have the lowest batting average on his balls in play. But David Peterson the way he's able to execute his full 5-pitch mix now, the way he's able to get ground balls every single time he needs. In this game, 18 ground balls. Most of his career, third most any pitcher's gotten in the last 3 seasons of Major League Baseball, which is
crazy,
obscene. It's ridiculous what he's been able to do. So efficient, to 30 pitches through 3 innings. Like, as the innings kept ticking up, you were like, he actually might be able to go distance. And he's like, oh my God, he's actually going to be able to go distance. And Tyrone Taylor did save his ass for that great throw home in the 8th.
What a throw. How did they not score? I felt like that was the easiest score ever. But then great throw by Tyrone Taylor. And also shout out the Mets for being like, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
Even though we're up runs, go get the out at home. I thought they were just going to cut it and be like, make sure he doesn't go to second. I love that the Mets went for the kill there. Fucking throw him out at the plate.
Seems like a home thing, too. You're like, the crowd's going crazy. Yeah, let's try to preserve the complete game shutout. Nationals also didn't score multiple runs on that single against Diaz in the 9th inning on Thursday.
That was crazy.
They weren't really running on contact on ball that was on the ground. Like,
yeah, the ground ball to Acuna with their fastest runner on the team at third base. They didn't send him home on contact for a team that's struggling to score runs, can't hit. Davey Martinez is mega on the hot seat. He should have been gone last year. We knew that, but like that was tip the cap. He's won a World Series. You give him a little more leeway. This Nationals team is managed horribly.
He probably should have been fired before they even won the World Series 2019.
Yeah,
that team was
true.
such a disaster. But they won the World Series, so he got his 5 years on that. But just close the book on Peterson before we start to take shots at the Nationals. It's nails. And now when we still don't have Sean Manaea and Kodai Senga is likely going to be out for a long time, he becomes so much more important to the staff. But I'm not like frightened or scared or upset about that either. Like, again, like this guy is nails. Like he pitches with a chip on his shoulder every single time out. And I do think
quiet confidence.
I think part of that is from the fact that everyone's like, when's the regression coming? I think Steve Gelb's had a conversation with him. They piped into the game last night where he's like, I know those things. I know I'm not supposed to be pitching this well. He's like, but I make my pitches. I'm a tough at bat. I get tons of ground balls. Like, what are you going to do about it?
Sometimes good pitchers don't need to strike out 35% of the batters that they face to be a really effective guy. Sometimes you can do it a bunch of different ways. We prefer that. I'd love everyone to be Jacob deGrom and Paul Skeens and those kinds of pitchers, Tarek Skubal. But it's cool to see that David Peterson is legitimately a good pitcher. David Peterson goes out every 5 days and pitches. It's not necessarily natural born talent, natural born skill. I throw harder than anybody. I got the nastiest pitches. He is a very good pitcher, and he's an extension king.
Yes, and major extension king. This is also the first real homegrown pitcher player development, full on, guaranteed, put the stamp on and win that we've had since Steven Matz, kind of, a little bit.
Steven Matz was not a win.
I mean, kind of a win. He pitched like too good. He was the last lefty to throw a complete game shutout for the Mets. Did you hear that one after the broadcast?
No, I didn't, because that makes me sick to my stomach, especially because on my stream we were like, this is like what we thought Matz would be in terms of like big game pitcher, good ERA, dog. Instead, he was like the pussy from Long Island who anytime that he ever got in trouble, was like, oh, I'm Steven Matz. I'm so sad. I'm scared. David Peterson, fucking dog.
Yes, but that Peterson has grown up to become that, which is Matz never gave himself the opportunity to grow up and become that. But again, just so excited about him. Nails. It's amazing.
It's summertime, and if you want to let it all flow out, but the hair is thinning, there is a solution for you. And Kratz, it's called Nutrafol. Tell the people what they need to do.
It's easy. You just got to hit up Nutrafol.com and use our code FOUL. And I'll tell you why, because you're going to have thicker hair. That's it. If that's your desire, you want thicker hair, there's no other place to go than Nutrafol.com and use the code FOUL for us.
#1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, they're offering the FT fam $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and you enter the promo code FOUL, F-O-U-L. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair.
Back to the Nationals. I know you were streaming, so you missed this, but it did seem like there was a moment towards the end of this game as the Mets hit a bunch of home runs. The Nationals also haven't won a game in Citi Field since 2023. Like, we own that ass right now. It does seem like Jackson Rutledge, I don't think anybody in Major League Baseball this day and age hits people on purpose, but I know if there's one manager left in the league who might tell people to hit someone on purpose, it is Davey Martinez. And Ronnie thought when Jackson Rutledge hit Pete Alonso late in that game on Wednesday that might have been what happened. He was like seething mad in the booth. He said that he had the inclination to throw a baseball at somebody. Like he's like, he'd never get out of this when you're a professional athlete. Awful announcing, clipped it and took it today, put it on Twitter. But it was interesting to see his reaction to that. That did make me think more. Not that anyone was hit on purpose, but if someone in the league is telling someone to hit someone on purpose, it's Davey Martinez telling a reliever to hit Pete Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the Mets have had some history with the Nationals and Davey Martinez and them throwing at guys and hitting guys and throwing up and in and stuff like that again. And it did come a little bit up and into Pete. I'm glad they didn't react, though. You know how you react back to the team? You beat the piss out of them. And that's exactly what they did. Complete game shutout. Go the fuck home. You guys suck. They have good players, but that team it's a hard watch, the Nationals. Like seeing who's coming to the play, like seeing Alex Call is no scrappy, but like Alex Call, Robert Hassel, like Robert Hassel looked not ready for the major leagues. I'm shocked he's still up there right now. Jacob Young, he didn't get to second on that throw. He's so fast. They don't play good, clean, fundamental baseball right now.
Jacob Young, despite being so fast, is one of the worst base runners in the league. This year, he's 5 for 10 stolen bases.
How's that even possible?
He's been a good base stealer in the past, so I do think it's a bit of an anomaly. But then you look at a team like the Mets. What?
I know what I wanted to say next. I just said "oh" out loud. I'm gonna let you finish your thought.
I said you look at a team like the Mets, who are just as successful as any team in the league at stealing bases. They're 56 out of 64 as a base stealing team this year, and this is also not a very fast team. Brett Beatty took a base in this game. Juan Soto takes his bases. Francisco Lindor keeps stealing bases with broken toes. Like we are so good on the margins, and we play a team like the Nationals who are so bad on the margins, it becomes so clear about kind of the haves and have-nots in Major League Baseball. I
couldn't believe how poorly they were holding runners on. The Mets were getting running starts.
Sprinting.
Taking full-on sprints. It got so ridiculous. Starting Marte tried to steal third on the with the left-handed batter up. Got thrown out. Took a perfect throw from Keibert Ruiz. But the Mets really treated the Nationals like they had no respect for them. Like they knew they were playing in an inferior team. And that's something that we have not seen from Mets teams in the past. Even earlier this year, playing some teams that weren't as good, kind of played down to the competition, but they were just like, you guys fucking stink. We're better. Watch us play the baseball the right way.
Yeah, and a big part of that, especially in this game, to give David Peterson, I feel like it's easier for a pitcher to settle in when they get a lead early, and we did that again. I mean, Nimmo had the 2 homers. Lindor had the double that he was just hoofing on that broken toe and sliding headfirst, kind of looking kind of funny to second base. He smoked 3 other balls. Juan Soto, another home run. It's just like, he's raised his OPS from 745 to 858 in 2 weeks, 13 games.
Hitting
100 points in the OPS. It's ridiculous. But I wanted to ask you a question about Juan Soto, because playing this Nationals team, so much time has passed, you kind of forget how ridiculously good that he was as National. Then you play this Nationals team, and you realize again how this entire team is built on the back of Juan Soto in that trade, because you look at James Wood and Robert Hassel's in the lineup. Mackenzie Gore is amazing. We'll talk about him in a second. But I want to ask you this question. Juan Soto is the blank best National of all time.
Ooh, okay. Juan Soto is he goes to get ahead of Harper, right? Because he won the World Series.
He won a World Series, and he had a similar length of career with similar, if not slightly better production, right?
So I probably put him ahead of Harper. I don't put him ahead of Scherzer. I don't put him ahead of Strasburg. I think those guys get the nod, and I think you still tip the cap to Ryan Zimmerman. He technically was a part of that World Series team. He's an original National. I think Ryan Zimmerman is the number 1 National. Talent-wise, Juan Soto is the most talented player, or Bryce Harper, or Scherzer, or Strasburg. But I think Zimmerman probably is still the right pick at number 1. I think you also could throw Trey Turner into that conversation, too. He was unbelievable for the Nationals as well. It also feels weird talking about these guys because every single one of those hitters has ended up playing for not just another team in the National League East. That's the weirdest part of this all.
Except Zimmerman.
Yeah, he was a lifetime National, and maybe that's why he also gets the nod too.
But if you're making, because the Nationals are a fairly new team. We're only approaching 20 years of Nationals baseball
Anthony
now.
Rendon probably gets in that conversation too, which feels crazy. His numbers with the Nationals were silly.
Definitely. But Soto, it's funny that he didn't play a game for this team after he turned 23 years old. He's actually in this conversation. He gets on their Mount Rushmore. And he probably has etched himself a place in their history forever just because of how amazing C.J. Abrams, James Wood, and Mackenzie Gore already are before any of these guys have even really gotten into their primes. Ronnie was talking about James Wood, saying, wow, when this guy gets man strength, he's really going to be a problem. So it's funny to hear that line. But
also, how about the fact that they're able to go from Bryce Harper to Soto to James Wood? That's insane. Teams don't get to do that.
It's a little ridiculous. That's kind of like what the Colts were able to do with the Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck, where here's another superstar, here's a free superstar, take another superstar. But it's just these things kind of come back up when we play the Nationals, because you forget so easily what Juan Soto did for that team and how good he was.
I'm going to say a few things here. So I do have Nationals career numbers pulled up. So technically the highest OPS for a National is Vlad Guerrero. He's an Expo, though. He never played for the Nationals. Bryce Harper has the highest OPS for Nationals players at 900. Soto's not appearing on this list. Does he not qualify? Why is he not appearing on here on MLB.com?
Soto?
Yeah, why would he not be on here? Let's see. Soto for his career. Really good podcasting as we're doing this on the run. I guess because he only played 560 games. Harper played 900 with the Nationals.
Wow.
So I think Harper.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's double the games. I guess Harper did finish out the rookie contract where Soto had a season each, Padres and Yankees, while still in that
the
deal.
COVID season.
And the COVID season, yeah, so that has a bunch of games off the top. But again, what's worth more, the 500 regular season games or nothing meant anything, or a World Series ring where you hit the huge home run in the 8th inning?
If there's a Nationals fan here, let us know in the comment section below. Who is your guys' greatest National of all time?
Or at least who's on, if you're a Nationals fan, we're not counting the Expos in national history, like who's on the Nationals fans' Mount Rushmore of Nationals?
I think that goes Harper, Soto, Strasburg, Scherzer. I think that's it. I think that's an undoubtable.
So no
Mount
Zimmerman.
Rushmore. Fuck yeah, he does have
that's
to be
what I'm saying.
shit.
There's a fifth option there. Like somehow it might not be Harper because he didn't get that ring.
Maybe, yeah.
Because
that feels so dirty.
I think you have to put Scherzer and you have to put Strasburg. Absolutely no doubt.
Especially because Strasburg was like, I killed my baseball career to win this World Series.
Just to win this World Series. And Strasburg was also the moment. I know the Harper moment was also special, but
Strasburg was first.
When Strasburg got drafted and made that debut, that was titillating for baseball fans. For 14, 15-year-old Mark and James, that was ridiculous.
That's what I was doing.
I rushed home. I think we had like a freshman baseball team game, and I rushed home, or maybe 8th grade, I don't remember what year that was, to watch that Strasburg debut. And I was like in front of my TV, like 4 inches away, like this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, no, it was definitely stop what you're doing. Remember where you were for Steven Strasburg. But all right, that's enough Nationals talk. We talked about them for a minute now. Put a bow on the end of this series. Good baseball. Everybody's
tell us about game 1 being in the ballpark, because that was insane.
I texted you when we got there. Me and Ernie were at the game, and I was like, I think there's 40,000 people here on a Tuesday night to watch the Mets play the Nationals. Like, Mackenzie Gore is one of the best pitchers in baseball this season. I don't think people were there like, I gotta see Mackenzie Gore like you would with a Scherzer or a Strasburg back in the day. But I think it ended up being 38,000 people in the stadium. It was raucous. It was loud. It was K-pop night. The DJ was playing awful K-pop music, which I can't stand. And still, the people were going crazy. It was awesome, too, when they had the comeback. Juan Soto with a big hit. Pete Alonso with the big hit. Jeff McNeil with the game winner. I saw the sound on TV because in the stadium, I was like, place is bumping. It feels like a playoff game. I heard the pop-off of the crowd watching the replays back. I couldn't believe how loud that was. It genuinely was an incredible atmosphere. And so much so that Andy Martino made a TikTok after the game, a TikTok video being like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it feels like when the Mets, like in 2015, were in the World Series. Like, it feels like the atmosphere of the World Series games has carried on over to regular season baseball, which we basically have never really seen in Citi Field as Mets fans.
No, never. And based on the attendance readings that we have on ESPN, because they put it on the schedule for every team, this was the lowest attendance of this 3-game series was Tuesday night. Wow. It was 38,400. Wednesday, 40,600 for the Dave Peterson complete game shutout. And Thursday afternoon at 1 p.m. in the middle of June, when school is still in session in New York City, 39,800.
Wow, 39,000 on Thursday. That's crazy.
Yeah, so we put up more than 100,000 fans in a three-game weekday series against the Nationals in June.
And if you guys at home, I don't think anyone thinks this, but just in case there are, if you don't think this makes a difference for the team and the players, I mean, just look at the numbers. The Mets don't lose at home.
They also say it every game.
Yeah, all the players play better at home. Like Brett Beatty's got 1,000 OPS at home. Everybody swings the bat better there. It makes a difference. And I'll tell you what, like as a fan, how do you not want to be at these games right now? Like you're someone coming in from another city. You're not worried about that stadium in the Bronx. Like I got to get to Citi Field for a game. That place is fun. It's good baseball. It's exciting. They have some of the best players in the game. This is a cool place to be.
And it was like the food there's amazing. And The beer's amazing. Everything about being in Citi Field is so great right now. I had FOMO not being at the game on Tuesday. I was sitting like, damn, I wish I was in Citi Field right now.
I had 2 hot dogs and 4 beers. It was an incredible night. And the Mets went on a walk-off, and Jeff McNeil's back. I can't ask for much more.
And that's on a walk-off. People tried to continue to villainize Juan Soto, not realizing that he's beginning the supernova hot streak because he didn't run out of the box hard enough. Shout out Brian Kenny for that one. That's our Michael K. Memorial Media Marvel of the Week.
Yeah, Brian Kenny on MLB Network was like, Juan Soto doesn't hustle on double. Could have been a triple. It's like, well, if he gets thrown out at third, it would have been the third out of the inning, dummy. The innings would never happen. The Mets wouldn't have tied the game. I can't believe the wish hunt for Juan Soto. It's ridiculous.
People keep trying to click the be negative about the Mets button, but I think that button might be hopefully expiring soon as long as we keep playing like this. But again, shout out to Mets fans answering the call from Steve Cohen, being like, why isn't the place more full? I think that was just Steve Cohen being a bit of a novice Major League Baseball owner, not realizing that the pop always comes the next season. After the good season, the pet place always packed the next season. But it's awesome. And Edwin Diaz, Reed Garrett were nails at the end of this game. Edwin working a scoreless ninth to keep the momentum moving, the place buzzing.
And it was just dominant. It was like, hey, just sit down, get out of here.
And Reed Garrett, the scoreless 10th innings are one of my favorite new things that happen in baseball. When a pitcher can pull that off, it's just like, yes, that's incredible when you just do that, especially in the home game when you can bring it home.
That's when a reliever deserves a fucking win. Like, that's when I'm like, wins for a reliever, awesome. Give it to him.
It's just good series. We're so much better than that team. We proved it on the field. It's a 6-game win streak now. The 2 losses that we've had over the last 2 weeks were both horrific losses that we should not have lost to the Dodgers, both by the same score, 6-5-2, which is weird. We're in the whole league right now. Few teams are playing better baseball than the Mets. Now it's up to this team and these guys in this building, that clubhouse, to be able to sustain momentum like this to keep it going. Because you don't want to peak early, you don't want to get too hot too early. Senga injury kind of helps that too, because then you have the little pop later. You need to have a big trade deadline. But this is everything right now is going as well as it possibly could. And now it's just mostly about sustaining, maintaining momentum, and staying hot as we keep moving forward. I
have one positive, one negative thing. 2 positive things, 1 negative thing to say about Francisco Alvarez. 1 positive thing. Shout out to him and his partner. Birth of their daughter. Shout out to him and his partner. Birth of his daughter. That's awesome. Shout out to Francisco Alvarez. His stance in Game 3 looked more open. I think that maybe it's anecdotal. We'll go back and check, but it looked like it was more open. Love to see that. Bad, still not hitting well. The catching was putrid. I can't believe he missed that ball that Edwin Diaz threw the slider on. That was bad. He has to catch. There's been a weird thing going on this year where the ball hits his glove and he doesn't catch it a lot. I don't know what's going on. I still love Francisco Alvarez. I had some people bringing like, should we send him down to figure things out? Bring up Hayden Sanger? No. Francisco Alvarez is a Major League Baseball player. He's going to figure it out. We need him to figure it out. This team wants to hit their true potential. I have all the faith in him, but let's get back to the old Francisco Alvarez. Let's get the best tattooed back on the neck. Let's get excited. Let's have some testosterone. Maybe go out with Starling Marte, night on the town, whatever it takes. I hope he comes back, though. Now that the birth of his daughter has happened successfully, healthy, love to see that. Maybe he gets his mojo back a little bit.
And again, if he's a part-time player right now, as still basically the youngest catcher in all of baseball, that's fine, because Luis Torrens is a great player. Luis Torrens this year is the most unlucky player in all of Major League Baseball. With
his hard hit rate is crazy.
With a minimum of 100 batted balls, between the difference in his WOBA and his expected WOBA. The guy is playing amazing baseball on both sides of the ball. And I do kind of like sometimes when he catches Senga more, because I know Francisco doesn't block as well. I think Gelbs had a little anecdote that Senga pulled Alvarez aside a couple weeks ago and said, hey, when you try to catch me in the ghost fork, never try to frame anything. That pitch is not near the strike zone. It's all about the swing. So just make sure you get down and block that ball. So it's good. I do think that it's Alvarez was so hot, so quick, and was such a big prospect that we were like, bang, development's linear all the way to the moon now. It's very difficult. I think I said it on the episode of Matt Eddy that you guys haven't heard yet, but we did yesterday. It's going to come out this weekend. When Cal Raleigh was Francisco Alvarez's age, he played 39 games at Double-A. Like that just gives a sense of how far along Francisco Alvarez is this young, and that we should just keep giving him time.
And before we do get going into the race series preview, I saw a lot about Mets runners in scoring position again this week. Shout out TJ Stats. He put out a tweet, I think, about the Mets or all the teams in Major League Baseball, their batting average with runners in scoring position. And I do believe the Mets were 28th out of 30 in terms of batting average. They might be up to 27 now, hitting 221 with runners in scoring position. Think about that. Mets are not hitting with runners in scoring position, and they're still winning these baseball games like they have. Of course, pitching is going to have some regression at some point. Things are going to even out. But the one thing I will say about the Mets, and this is going to build to your thing, James, The process with runners in scoring position has been better. They're 8th right now in Major League Baseball in walks with runners in scoring position. And in terms of swing and miss striking out, they're 28th. They have one of the best K rates with runners in scoring position.
That's what I was
The
saying.
WRC plus is around 100. They have the lowest BABIP in Major League Baseball with runners in scoring position. At some point, things are going to start to turn. They're hitting the ball hard. They're barreling up the baseball. I think they have the 5th highest ISO with runners in scoring position. Like,
There you go.
it's gonna figure itself out, and I feel like we're starting to see it more and more as the weeks go on.
And we do keep finding ways to draw walks and keep these innings going. If you can't get the hit, kick the can down the road, let someone else get the big hit. And this, we said all along, this lineup is too good to be bad. And now this is the natural progression of the season, where now the pitching has had a couple more chinks in the armor. Griffin Canning regressed in a big way. We should be fair to Griffin Canning because some regression was due, will happen. It's just understanding that that's who he is. Like, I think that home run he gave up C.J. Abrams the 5th inning of that game was a really good reminder that deep down,
he's still Griffin Canning.
He's not as bad as he was last year, but he's clearly not as good as he was this year, where he puts a dot fastball low and away C.J. Abrams, and he just goes out and gets it because it's still a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Nowhere in the zone is that fastball going to be safe against a good hitter like Abrams. He hung that slider to Nathaniel Lowe. It's a good reminder that Griffin Canning will always be on the razor's edge, and we should never pretend that we have too much pitching because no one's ever had too much pitching if you're trying to win a pennant.
Shout out Justin Garza.
Shout out Justin Garza. We forgot about Justin Garza. So much has happened since then. Justin Garza coming out there on 98-mile-an-hour sinkers and 90-mile-an-hour cutters. That was awesome.
And like an 82-mile-an-hour like slider. Like that. I don't know where they find these demons. And I don't
he's
know
got
why
two options. He's got two minor league options.
I don't know where David Sternski's finding these demons, but shout out Buster Posey, definitely being old school baseball guy, being like, he's been at the majors, he has an 80 ERA, he stinks, get him out of here.
Yeah, and we got two options free on it. But
to be fair, their bullpen's also insane.
Yeah, Giants bullpen's ridiculous. Randy Rodriguez, what I would do. But let's move on. Let's get to the preview of the Tampa Bay Rays series. The Rays, much to Mark's chagrin because he hates the Rays, playing very good baseball.
Rays. I have a Randy Rosarena jersey in my closet. I like the Rays. They take down the Yankees every time in the playoffs. The Rays I like the organization.
Playing good ball.
They also have played by far the most games at home in Major League Baseball because we know in Florida the weather gets crazy. The Rays are now playing outdoors because Tropicana Field got destroyed during the hurricane. And during the summer especially, it just rains for 30, 40 minutes at a time. Pours, stops raining, pours, stops raining. The Rays right now have played 68 games this season, 36-32. Great record, playing way better than anyone I think could have expected. But they've played 43 of those games at home. That is by far the most. They've only played 25 games on the road. I think there is some regression when you get to travel.
For sure.
Sleeping in your own bed, getting your routine is really, really nice. I'm interested to see how they handle when they start playing every single game on the road the second half of the season.
Yeah, which is going to be a strange thing, and no team in baseball's had to basically ever deal with before. But pitching matchups this series, a full SNY series, we can be happy about that because next week we have a very non-SNY week. Our weekend series next weekend, not to look ahead, against the Phillies. There's no SNY games. So Gary and Ron were lamenting today that they're going to call 7 straight games against the Atlanta Braves next week, which is really funny to think about. But pitching matchups this series, Friday night, 7:10, Pride Night City Field. That place is going to be rocking. It's going to be a lot of fun there.
Tampa Bay Rays, I think, have a lot of anti-Pride guys, if I remember correctly.
I think that one of them's on the Mets now, which is kind of funny too.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, one of them's on the Mets now. But Clay Holmes versus Taj Bradley, Saturday 4:10, the fabled Saturday 4:10 start. If you guys are going to City Field at 4:10, have a tall boy for me. Tyler McGill versus Drew Rasmussen, bit of an ace off there. And then Sunday, 1:40 matinee, Griffin Canning versus Shane Baz.
Okay, interesting. So let's talk about the pitching real quick. Taj Bradley, if he's on, you're going to watch him and be like, how is this not one of the best pitchers in the league? Yeah. If he's off, you'll be like, holy shit, Taj Bradley throws big balls.
Batting practice.
Yeah, like he is one of the most volatile pitchers. And I guess Shane Baz, too, is pretty volatile, where he's either fucking nails or he's getting shelled. Like, what's the deal with these guys?
I mean, they're volatile in different ways. Bradley, he's gone through this thing where I think he's trying to fix it, but he just throws everything too hard and on the same plane. Like Taj Bradley is a straight up and down pitcher. He has the fastball that every pitcher in the league wants, that misses bats at the top of the zone. He has the split that works off it, the cutter that just cuts a teeny tiny bit, and the curveball is not a full 12-6, but it's still mostly a hammer curve. But the fastball is 96 miles an hour, the cutter's 90, the splitter's 91, 92. Those 4 pitches right there, that's 86% of all the pitches he throws.
Yeah.
So if all the pitches you throw move kind of the same way and kind of have the same velocity and all kind of work on the same plane, it's kind of not that hard to figure out which one you're going to hit in which situation. And he is not Sometimes he struggles sequencing with them a little bit. It's just you can kind of tell what's coming next with Taj Bradley. But again, when things are working and he's locating perfectly and he's able to fool hitters, he's only 24 years old still. Like, this is a situation where it's probably similar. We just saw a guy like McKenzie Gore. People write these pitchers off way too young, way too early, all the time.
Scherzer literally was
Zach Greinke.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And then all of a sudden, a guy turns 26, 27, check DeGrom, and you're like, oh, man, this guy's awesome. It just took him 3 or 4 years to learn.
I'm starting to put things together here. It's like, maybe pitchers that are 24 won't be as good as they are when they're 28. David Peterson.
David Peterson, another great example of it right there. Hopefully Tyler McGill, maybe 32 is going to be the year. But this is just – and Shane Baz, he just kind of loses the command a little bit because it's a combination of the fastball and knuckle curve are amazing pitches, but sometimes they just can't really figure it out. And this happens to a guy like Shane Baz who's dealt with a lot of serious injuries. But something that's really cool about this Rays team, and Steve Gelbs did a good report about them during the Nationals game. We're starting to preview that series. Their starting pitchers have been the most stable, secure, and consistent in all of Major League Baseball.
How's that possible?
They've gotten the most innings pitched for any team out of their starting pitchers this season with 387. Their starters' ERA at 3.7 is not one of the lowest, right in the middle of the pack. But again, at that many innings, the most innings of any starting pitcher in baseball. I believe they have the most quality starts of any staff in baseball, too. I'm double-checking that one right now. They have the second most quality starts behind the Phillies. They're also, I think, one of only 2 teams in baseball all year as well to only have 6 different players start the game all season.
And this is the same organization that pulled Blake Snell early in the World Series that's getting innings and quality starts. What the fuck?
There's also the same organization that was using Ryan Stanek as an opener, kind of perfecting these 2, 3, 4 inning at a time appearances from guys. But the big reason for that is because they now have a lot of guys who've kind of grown into these roles. Someone like Ryan Pepio has been, we're not going to see in this series, but so consistent. Drew Rasmussen, we're going to see Saturday.
It's awesome.
When I said ace-off, I didn't mean that lightly. Drew Rasmussen is fucking awesome.
And he was awesome before the injury, too. And that was a catastrophic injury that he suffered. Like, people don't come back.
It was his second time with John surgery. And I also do believe in the middle of that, he had another serious arm injury there.
I think he had TOS.
Yeah, I think he might have. And he's still pumping upper 90s, again, with an amazing shape on that fastball. He works the cutter, he works a sinker, he has a sweeper and a curveball just to keep guys honest. Like, he does. And it doesn't even look that astounding when you're watching him because you're like, "What? This guy's only throwing fastballs. We can't hit them." But it's a little fastball triangle. And he keeps varying them all really, really well. Something else that's going to be awesome to watch the series from the Rays, I want you to talk about the hitters in a second. This team is the most aggressive in all of baseball on the base pass. They've stolen the most bases in Major League Baseball. Jose Caballero, who's a part-time player, has the most steals in Major League Baseball at 25. They get on base and they fucking go.
Now,
but the
part
Mets,
of that,
what?
Chandler Simpson stole 19 bases in 35 games.
Part of it, but even still, again, Caballero's 25 and not that much either. Like, Josh Lowe steals bases. The whole lineup steals bases kind of up and down. Again, Chandler Simpson was a part of that. He's not here anymore. But it's going to be interesting to see the rubber meet the road with the Mets because besides the Kansas City Royals with Salvador Perez and Freddie Fermin, the Mets have allowed the fewest stolen base in baseball and have the second best cost-stealing rate for any team in baseball. So I'm very curious to see that strength-on-strength matchup, what it looks like. And also, the Mets are a very efficient base-stealing team. The Rays are bad against the run game. So yes. I'm very interested to see the game within the game, what happens with base runners this series.
Yeah, the Rays have an athletic team. With a lot of good athletes.
It's a young team.
It's a young team, athletic. I'm interested to see what their bats look like on the road because Steinbrenner Field that they're playing in is modeled exactly off of Yankee Stadium, which we know is a bandbox, except it has shorter fences. So you actually get even more home runs and even more favorable hitting, and the batter's eye's clean there, and there's no seats out in the outfield, so the wind's always howling there. Citi Field plays better, obviously, when the weather's hot. The ball travels a little bit more. We saw that this series against the Nationals on some of the balls here. Jonathan Aranda is one of the guys I think you guys need to look out for. What a good baseball player. Barrel king, gets on base, doesn't really chase too much. Solid baseball player, is going to be an all-star for the Rays. Junior Caminero, really starting to heat up. Someone who started off horribly to start the year. Someone we're like, oh, okay, the breakout's not happening yet. He's still 21. He's still so young. It's happening. He's gone off since May. 15 homers, 15 doubles, 41 RBIs, a near 800 OPS. Outside of that, you have guys that can pop like Yandy Diaz, like Brandon Lau.
Diaz has been hot.
Yeah, like Josh Lowe. But this is a still very, very, very beatable Rays team. And I do think that the way the Mets have been hitting and pitching, this is a good matchup. This will be a lot of good baseball being played this weekend.
Totally. And you do get a bit of a leg up on the Rays when you pitch a lefty. The Mets won't be pitching a lefty in this series, but that's how you get around out of the lineup, until you get Brandon Lau out of the lineup. That's not happening here. But this is this is an interesting and fun team. I think I like Brandon Lau. He's one of the more disrespected in all baseball.
Yeah.
He's just a fantastic player through and through. Also, we're getting the return of a couple funny former Mets this series.
Oh, Jake Mangum.
Yeah, first one being one of the original memes of this podcast, Jake Mangum.
Joe DeMayo, I know you're going to be tweeting about Mangum. I know it. I'm calling you out. I know you're listening.
Joe DeMayo and Mike Mayer both. But Mangum has a 300 average and 700 OPS, which is hard to do, but still playing well. Stealing bags, playing good defense, center and corner outfield kind of mixing in, depending on where Cameron Meisner is. And also the one appearance Met, Edwin Uceta, who's a good reliever for them. And then, really under the radar former Met, Eric Orza.
Yeah.
The Rays have done that thing again with Eric Orza, where he now statistically is one of the best relievers in baseball, and it's kind of ridiculous. We're also Cole Sulser, another barely a former Met, but a former Met nonetheless in this series.
Yeah, it's funny. The Rays will take shots on pretty much anybody that they possibly can, and they usually end up hitting pretty good on those guys that they go after. Christopher Morel, Met killer. We know that he's had some big games against the Mets in the past. I think that's pretty much it to talk about this team, right?
Want to shout out one more reliever, of course.
Ooh, yeah, give us a weird one.
Mason Montgomery.
Ooh, yeah, he's weird, yeah.
From the left side, this guy, the ERA is bad. It looks ugly so far. But from the left side, he's throwing 100 miles an hour with just a little tight slider on top of that. He's freaky. The Rays always do weird stuff. We always know that, come to expect that. I wanted to probably pound for pound, one of the best run organizations in baseball, given what they have to work with and what they get out of it every single fucking season. They're a fun team to play against. And last season, they kind of pulled their pants down. So I would like to beat them right now.
Yeah, no, it'd be really nice. I wish we had Jose Siri for a little Siri revenge game, but albeit he's still hurt.
I mean, remember Jose Caballero, what he did to Omar Narvaez last year?
Well, of course. Come on. How did you forget?
that was embarrassing. And I do know that Richie Palacios has worked through a rehab assignment because he's brother of Josh Palacios. We shouted out Brooklyn a couple episodes ago when we played the Pirates. I don't think he's going to be back for the series, though. But would be cool to see get some more Brooklyn in the house.
And Palacios has always played well against the Mets, I feel like.
I mean, that's it. Brooklyn. They're showing out for the borough.
Brooklyn. All right. I think that's it. Do we have Frankie Peppers by any chance? I'm sure he's working busy, but
let me check.
Let James.
Phone's on the charger.
Yeah, I'll keep talking here to keep the people interested. Hope you guys have had a great week. We got Father's Day coming out. This is a reminder to everybody to go get your dad a gift for Father's Day for Sunday. I'll be at the game Friday and Sunday, so hopefully we see you guys there.
Doing Father's Day at the park?
Doing Father's Day at the park. Shout out sponsor of Draftneck, Mark Mumu. Gave the family some sweet tickets for Sunday.
Wow,
so going to be going in style.
That's nice. So we do got Frankie Peppers.
Yes, let's go. Give me Frankie to close out the episode.
After another sweet baby, here's Frankie.
Gentlemen, this is Frankie Peppers. How you doing? I hope you're staying cool on this extremely hot Thursday.
Haven't been outside.
Scalding hot.
You want sweeps? You get sweeps with these Mets. It's what we should be doing. You can never expect it, but we're on the right track here. But it's unfortunate. It's one of those, I forget what you call them, phallic victories, Pyrrhic victories, excuse me.
Pyrrhic.
It's really hard to see Kodai Senga go down like that again, but we got reinforcements on the way. And just like I've got reinforcements on the way at home, I have some really nice grapes from a market over here. I'm trying to eat a little healthier. So I hope you boys enjoy some grapes today or whatever your favorite fruit is. What's your favorite fruit, Mark? James, what's your favorite fruit? Maybe I'll get you some when I get you some bolognese. All right, boys, I hope you're well. Take care. Let's go, Mets.
Not to go off on a sidetrack here, but if Frankie wants to start the fruit argument, James and me can go on for hours right now.
We've had this fruit argument way too many times. Mark, what's your favorite fruit? Tell the people.
Fucking love apples. Apples are so good.
I always tell Mark that's a fourth grade answer because it is your favorite fruit. I'm a big mango guy.
Mangoes are
the
good,
highest tier fruit.
But like I feel like it's hard to tell if a mango is going to be good. I'll know if an apple is going to be good just by looking at it.
You could feel when a mango is going to be good. And when that mango is good, there's no better fruit even close to it on the planet.
My bad take with mangoes is always that I just prefer Rita's mango Italian ice better than actual mangoes. It tastes so much better. It's probably all the sugar in the candy.
But yeah, you guys sound off in the comments. Tell us what your favorite fruit are, and trash Mark for having a fourth grade fruit opinion.
I tried to buy some fruit recently. I got grapes and blueberries. The blueberries were fucking terrible. They were disgusting. They were mealy and they had no flavor. The grapes, I left them in the refrigerator for a day. They went completely bad instantly. I bought bad grapes. So
you bought bad grapes. That's on you.
I was upset about that. Are you a green or red grape guy?
I like both, but I always skew towards the red when I'm buying it myself.
Interesting. Okay, I'm a green grape.
But
I like them both.
Funny, if I one of my big moves is I love bringing grapes to a party because I think people always are shocked by that.
Grapes
like a nice daytime hang with the fellas. I'll just bring a bag of grapes. I've done that at Ernie's house a few times. I think green grapes are a much better social grape, a little more pop.
Ooh,
Like
a social grape. Wow.
I keep red grapes in my own fridge.
The red grape, you keep them all for yourself. You share those grapes.
All right, next time bring a combo pack. But yeah, I do love grapes. Grapes
It's a
are definitely
refreshing
my
grape.
A tier of fruits. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
such a good, easy, non-issue fruit. The problem with mango is it takes a lot of work, but that's why
another reason why
that's
it
why
goes
it's worth the
down.
reward. That's why it's worth the reward. But
It's
grape,
like pineapple is like the best flavor without a doubt.
pineapple's sensational, but
Yeah.
it's a mess.
It's an absolute
Pomegranate too. Pomegranate's a fiasco every single time. It looks like there's blood on the walls because there's splashing pomegranate juice everywhere. But that's it. That's why grapes are great. You just grab a grape and eat it. Same with the apple. I'll give you that one.
And that's the Fruit 4 with Mark and James. Thank you guys
And
for
Frankie.
listening to the Mets'd Up Podcast. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel Mets'd Up Podcast over there. Listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google. Drop us a rating, drop us a review, download and subscribe. And follow us on all our social media at Mets'd Up on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow James at
James Shiano.
I'm Draftneck Mark with a C. Thank you all for listening and watching. We will catch you later this weekend for a Mets podcast update with Matt Eddy of Baseball America. So shout out to him, most recurring guest we've ever had. And then we'll catch you after the Rays series. Enjoy it, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Peace out, guys. Let's go Mets.